really comes back to that preparation. How hard is he prepping? It's obvious he's prepping like a madman. And he plays C4. He didn't even play D4 this time as the game starts. C4. Kirill, like, I didn't expect that. I thought you was gonna play D4. What?
C4, E5. Let's see.
Bishop B4. I like this. I like the E4 line from Jeffrey. Oh, he didn't play it. But E4 there is more of a reverse Rossalimo. You're getting very nice attacks. Magnus had a crushing game against Vichy, I think back in like 2017 or 18. White can't see. But E4, Knight C3, and very nice. Bishop D3 and stuff like that. So very nice. Played Knight D5 though. Very playable.
I cannot believe Jeffrey already has spent 1 second. What happened, James?
Yeah,
we know
he
him as the man who collects time. He's spending time.
He spent 2 seconds there. The man's not prepped.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he didn't.
He's so
slow. To go back. Yeah, he's so
Jeffrey,
slow. He needs to come better. He needs better preparation.
But in all seriousness, this could be one of those preparations again, because it's not the main line that he's playing, but he certainly has picked this line for today for a reason. And Alexeyenko is already down a minute in an opening that's not new to him.
This is strange. I don't know what's going on either, right? This D4, or what is this? Like, how do you respond to this? Do you take it? But then what's the follow-up? His queen's out there early. You are also thinking about what he did to Fedoseev as well, right? So that's always in the back of your head of like, bro, that was crazy. I don't want to get caught in nothing like that. So you have to really think here. And I actually don't even know what this theory could possibly be. I've never played this from either side. The D6 seems right, and that's what he played. D6 and E4 played quickly, not even thinking, here we go. This might be another one.
Yeah, and as you said, D6 seems right. And yet the evaluation board is suggesting that maybe Black has slightly already made not a mistake, but an inaccurate move, something that is giving White an edge after only a few moves in the opening.
Yeah, and I guess this here is just saying I have the whole center, which is, I mean, space, huge space advantage. I like C6, knight takes C7. Okay, and now a small thought from Jeffrey, very small thought.
This is not like him. Come on, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Oh man, Jeffrey using his time, guys. Don't be like Jeffrey. Queen E7, and shoot, that actually is a good move though. Like, Kirill will be finding some moves on you. He could threaten him to take, I think. 92, he don't care about none of that. So you're just going, what are you going to do if he takes? Maybe knight
he just want to take with the queen before, he will not even take back.
Might even take with the knight.
Sacrifice another pawn again, because he already has the pair of bishops. See, he already has gotten the bishop of Black to have the pair of bishops as a long-term advantage.
Right. Yeah, we got that bishop pair. He has some things to work with. Knight to C3. And what do we do now? Castles. Kirill thinking a lot, man. Hey, Jeffrey having that time edge. There it is. There's a castle, bishop B2. We got to develop our pieces.
Yeah, a 2-minute time advantage and only a few moves into the game.
Bishop B2, Ricky H.
Now D5, so he chooses to close the center. Obviously, in general, for the bishops, you prefer open positions, but here I don't think he wanted the E4 pawn to be hanging. If E takes D4 were to happen, then, or the 3 pieces of Black were gonna be attacking that pawn.
Right. This is King's Indian-esque without the bishop, though. So this is not the greatest. With the space advantage, it's already giving a plus 1.4 here. Huge space advantage for White. Without the dark square bishop, I also can play bishop G5 and pin you. I can castle and play F4, and everything is going to fall and collapse.
Kirill spending, again, quite some time, and then pushes
only person
C5.
Thinking is Kirill. He's the only one thinking. Kirill is the only one thinking. Castles 97. And Zhang is trying to go to the finals. That's all I'm saying. Chef Jeff is trying to punch his way forcefully to the finals.
And if he does so, we're going to have Hans waiting there for either Jeffrey or Kirill.
I'm just waiting. Yeah, b6 on the board. And now how do we expand? If bishop g5, you get hit with h6. You may even get hit with h6, g5, knight g6, all in one move. Bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, g5, bishop g3, and knight g6. Rook b1. Knight g6 played immediately, saving some time. Rook e1, nice move. G3 and h4, h5 is a possible idea.
Yeah, it feels like white could but white is already taking more space in the center, and you can push both on the king side and on the queen side. It's a very unique position to be in, where you can create attack and you can create an initiative in either flanks, it feels like.
Absolutely, of course. And after h6 here, we do have what we call a hook pawn, but it's hard to actually get to it. You would need g4, g5 in there, which is very, very risky. Also, we can see f4 square that the knight can eventually hop into. I do actually want to get f4 in myself. That's going to take some time. G3, bishop f3, bishop g2, f4. Long time. h6. Stopping bishop g5.
Let's see if Jeffrey will go for the structure you suggested to try to aim for f4, g3, f4, or does he have a different plan here that he wants to play for? 2 minutes of time advantage, more than 2 minutes, and the pair of bishops, although this is a very close position, so it's not the type of position where the pair of bishops would shine and be extremely powerful, but it is a lot when it comes to the space advantage in the center and the fact that it is in white's control when you open up the positions, such as do you open up the b file, do you try to push g3, f4, so very flexible, and it is black who has to be waiting and having a response to all of those.
In fact, he plays a4. Bishop e7 almost instantly. It's almost like I didn't even see the move. It was so fast. It was almost like pre-moves. But a4 and bishop d7 played very, very quickly here, getting the last piece off the back rank.
So he decides that he wants to start the battle on the queen side, pushing a4. Is he going to push a5 as well?
It's a good question. He could play a5, but then I maybe take some b5. That's an interesting way of giving up a pawn.
I
like
to
this.
Then
A5.
grab the a5 pawn later.
Yeah, but maybe you take b4 first, but then rook takes, then takes a5. I mean, you do have a pass pawn, and two of them, because we're going to get one, and then you still have the other. He's trying to break through. He didn't like this idea, and he's focused all over here. Time is actually getting closer. Time is actually getting a lot closer here.
Yeah, it goes to show how complex this position is, that even though the bar is showing, oh, white is comfortable, white is better, but you cannot just claim you are better. You need to prove it with moves, with a plan.
Right. Yeah, we need a good plan. Exactly. We need a good plan here. And I don't know what the plan is now for white as he went for this. I want to play b5 and again, just go for g3, f4, like put the rook, maybe really have to prep it. Like if I have a rook on the third rank, g3 and f4 is going to come at some point, but you have to prep it, proper preparation there. And there's it, the g3, he might be going for it. Maybe with a bishop f1, bishop g2, or bishop f3 to g2. Maybe move rook b2 after locking up on b5, put the rook on e2, and especially when you move in this rook, there's no pressure on the e file. Yeah, we're going to lock it up first. Bishop e3 played, not worried about anything. He wants to attack this side of the board, keep both options open. It's
incredible to see how he is playing on both flanks at the same time. So you sometimes worry that you can extend. You're having a bit too many things and too many things going on at the same time. But he's doing it in a very smart way, that if that pawn is taken on b4, then he will have the semi-open b5 and he will shift his focus to the queen side. If it's not taken, he's happy continuing with g3, f4 probably.
Absolutely. I love it. g3, f4 looks like a huge plan here, guys. f4, maybe even immediately, without having to worry about anything. So if I go f4, oh yeah, the pawn's hanging, right? That's why I have to defend the pawn. He plays a5, playing on both sides once again. Don't care about nothing. Playing quickly too as well. Up a minute here against Kirill.
I really wonder what will Kirill come up with, because as we have seen it, it was his game actually against Grandmaster Lech van Gliam. It's hard to be on the defensive side for so long, hard to be passive and not have any active plans to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that we can highlight is takes. and pawn takes. He can win a pawn here, but that pawn is temporarily. So after rook a4, maybe you can do rook takes a5, queen a1, stuff like that. And then we're going to pressure this pawn, maybe try to break through, and then eventually break through with the b pawn that we have that is passed. Very nice.
He must be considering that as that's the most forcing line, even if it's not that promising.
Yeah, what's the engine like? Let me see. Engine says rook c to b, queen d8, and c takes b4. Yeah, c takes b4, which makes sense. He does play with a to b, in fact. So rook c to b. Do we just trade everything and play f4? No, queen c2. We can just keep the, what do they say? Grandmasters say keep the tension. So we keep the tension here. Maybe by playing a move like a6, keep some tension here. But we want to keep tension, I think, on both. Or maybe, maybe we need to do something about this tension now.
That's what Jeffrey's trying to figure out. He does have a minute and a half of time advantage that he can invest in this critical moment.
A to B. He's thinking, wow, Jeffrey using his time. I mean, hey, that's a new thing compared to what he did in this, compared to what he did in that last game. The man's using his time. F3, interesting. What is the plan? Maybe locking the bishop in, but how do you get it? He's going to walk the king up? No, that's way too risky. I mean, I would do it, though, because it is that risky. But G4, so like G4, this is a move. He's going to H5 me? I mean, you're still locked in there, though. Takes. Oh, there's like knight. Never mind. There's some tricks. You're getting made. No, I'm able to run away, but then that's hanging. I'm looking at so many things right now, calculating wise.
You want to trap that bishop.
Yeah, I want to trap this bishop so bad. But I looked at this. G4, H5, King F2, right? Takes. And then like a move or something, right? But apparently, maybe you just take it now. It's probably the idea, and then check. Yeah, then you're in trouble. You get it back. You're in trouble. So King F2 is no good. Oh, he played something else. Two moves happened. Queen A4 and Queen A3. So he's playing over here. He's playing over here. Yeah, he's playing over here.
So one pair of rooks have been traded. The B file is in Kirill's control, and the A file is in Jeffrey's.
So he has the A file. I got the pair of bishops. Knight B5 is nice. That's a very strong move because I'm going to keep
that file. Yeah.
Right. And if you take, I'm pushing that boy. Pushing it.
That will be a pass pawn and pair of bishops again if you have to take on B5. Well, I mean, it was already, but like fully. But two bishops against two knights is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, two bishops against two knights here. And we may even have some sacrifices at some point on D6 and bishop takes C5. Maybe not right now, but it's definitely a possibility. I think it's a little risky to go for this, but it is there. Queen A6 also highlights the fact that this pawn is extremely weak. What are these knights doing anyway? This is what we call the what is it? I always get that word wrong. Superfluous knights. So that's a weird word.
That's a new word to me.
Yeah, it's a Devereski. I call it a Devereski word. I saw it from Devereski's Indian manual. But it's definitely these knights do the same thing. Redundant knight in a way.
Yeah, they're trying to go to the same square.
Yeah, same
so
square.
It's
yeah,
not
and here
very
it's not doing
helpful
anything.
setup.
It's these knights are very ugly. So he goes knight G5. Engine says that is not a move. H4. Is that why?
It's tempting to push that knight back. He just plays Queen A7, attack the rook.
Queen C. Oh, you're not pinned. You're not really pinned. You can move that bishop. Okay. I see it. So what do we do then? I mean, H4 pushes him back. Like you really can annoy him. H4, knight H7. It does make some weaknesses. Then Queen C7, maybe takes. Interesting. Rook D8 though. And time's getting lower for both. Jeffrey up on clock. Good time management.
It is really hard when it's been both flanks where Jeffrey was making plans, ideas, threats. So eventually it ended up being the queen side that is the main stage. And it is hard to regroup your pieces in a way that that you can counter everything immediately. The knights of black are busy on the king side. Knight h3
Speaking of
is a
these knights, hold
check.
up. Oh, jeez.
Is there any real threat though? Because I was like, is it just like it looks like black is doing something with those knights, or do you think there's an actual threat?
You know, I think if king g2, there was knight f4, weirdly enough. And then if you take with if you take with a pawn, I take back with my pawn, and then queen g5 is nasty. It's like scary stuff, right? I mean, immediately this happens. I mean, look at this mate; it's gross.
Yeah.
And then if king f1, queen g1 mate. So this is like, or move the bishop. But where are you going to move the bishop? C8, e8.
Oh, so rough when you barely have any squares to go to, and your knights are also not well positioned.
This is crazy.
So as we mentioned, bishop takes b5. After c takes b5, that's a passed pawn for white, supported by the two bishops.
Right.
It's just simply that after bishop takes b5, you need to include queen takes e7 to not play the Bottas gambit, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, push, and then the bishop's defending this one. We got the rook coming around. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. King h1, and still thinking it's Kirill. Jeffrey takes the sip. Game is over. Yeah. This is under a minute for Kirill. Under 1 minute.
A tough position. And again,
F5.
Whoa. Okay, he's trying. He's going all in.
This reminds me of who did that. Bishop takes h3. You never laid that one down. Boy, that bishop takes h3 was ridiculous by Vugar earlier.
Vugar in the very first game against Hans.
Let's take the pawn, I think.
It's again one of those type of games where Alexeyenko might not even know where it went wrong, because it's not one move. It's not a one move blunder. It's just been a tough position, even if it was slightly better, only slightly better for white. But Jeffrey kept improving his position, and black couldn't really do the same.
Now we have queen to f7. I am very tempted to take this pawn, but I don't know of good follow-up yet. So don't take the pawn then. So maybe we do something else. Queen c7, just go back, hit the rook. Knight d6 could be coming in. I can also take another pawn. Queen c5 or bishop c5. I have lots of moves here.
So many good options that Jeffrey's spending time to decide which one is the right one, which one is the best.
Big fan of that. Absolutely. He needs to be using his time. I think that's a huge. You got to use your time, guys. And he's using it at the right moment.
It's a big time advantage and also a huge advantage on the board, decisive advantage. He just needs to make sure that he plays it out precisely.
Doesn't hang anything and plays the correct moves from here, which is what necessarily. Let me see what the engine says the most precise. Wow. Oh, yeah, queen c7. I did mention that. Queen b6 and e takes f5. Yeah, he found one of them. Yeah, well, the idea is like putting the knight in here, I think.
The pawn is still hanging. Knight d6 is now a new threat. It just feels like there's way too many things going wrong in black's camp.
Knight d6. There it is. Queen f6. Queen takes c5. Yeah, we don't want to stay in the pin, so maybe something taking c5. There's no checkmates, right? Oh, you know what? Is he threatening mate? No, he's not. It's scary because, like, if pawn takes, I was looking at, like, you know, the queen and rook being lined up. You have to watch out for this, obviously, especially with the bishop defending h3. There's like sacrifices, but there wasn't. We were able to cover everything due to the bishop and the rook. It looks scary, but looks are deceiving here, as you see. Pawn takes and pawn takes back should be just fine. Knight takes, you do allow another knight in there. Maybe just trade the queens too, though. He's coming. He's coming. Queen g5. Not really threatening this yet. He has to take on f5.
What? Okay, all right. Immediately played queen and sacrifice.
Queen takes and a knight e7, and he comes back and thank you. Appreciate it. Give me the work on the way out. This and everything must go, Sale. I appreciate it. Wow.
Jeffrey didn't even blink. It looked like Kirill had something, a threat at least, against the white king. And here goes queen takes g6, finishing the game in style.
Knight e7, knight takes g6, take the rook. Come on, now that's a resignation. There it is. And Chef Jeff cooking up another nasty one. Oh my goodness, this man is a precise chef here. Very nasty.
Precise. And once again, it feels like he dominated the game. It wasn't the same home prep as in the previous match, where it felt like he won out of the opening preparation. He had to work through the advantage he gathered from the opening, but he had that advantage and kept simply increasing that advantage. It was a masterclass. That's what many of you said in the chat, and I agree. It felt like he is much higher rated than his opponent, when in fact these were two super grandmasters.
Absolutely.
But somehow he makes it look easy. James, how does he do it?
You know, he spent a lot of time in the kitchen cooking up what he does right now, right? He does it, and he's been doing it for a while with a smile. As you see, this man's working it, going to the final, and he's about to face Hans. I mean, Hans on another level right now, and Chef Jeff is on another level right now. This is going to be a masterpiece, what we're going to see here in this final. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to be back to see that, right? It's going to be fun. So
we're going to take a very quick break. I wasn't sure if I should take over, but we will take a quick break before the storm is here. This is it, the final match between Jeffrey Zhang and Hans Niemann. Hans will have the white pieces in the first game since he won yesterday the Swiss format. He is the #1 seed. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You will not want to miss this.
Wow, that's a fork. There goes my queen. My opponent is eating well tonight with a fork. No knife, no spoon, one fork is enough. Oh no, not my queen. Oh, not the queen, no. I left it hanging. Oh, just plain hanging out to dry. Well, that's great. A little discover check to win my queen. Spend the whole day playing glitch. And what do I have to show for it? -50 elo. And the discovery here is I'm bad at chess.
Oh, come on! There's no way a 1200 is finding that move. He's cheating. He's gotta be cheating.
Oh dear. Seems as though I've planted my queen. I've planted myself, as it were. I've been pinned to the king. Say, Lizzie, I wouldn't mind being pinned to a king again. Is that too much to say? Oh, you devil.
Okay, so a beginner player might think I have blundered my queen here, but actually my opponent is just getting mated on the next turn. If he takes here or here, he's getting mated.
Okay, so I didn't realize that you can't play A8.
Takes rook D2 or rook B2, and then you just take the pawn on B4.
Oh, king of 6, rook B4, bishop E7. Only chance. If you go rook 6 B4, bishop E7.
But then rook B8, and then black gives up an exchange, and he's got chances. 5 to 7 4 seconds. How does he win?
Oh my, he doesn't know it's bishop E7. There's chances.
Take E7.
Oh, play rook B1. Play rook B1. If you play rook B1,
rook 28.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That didn't just happen. Oh. Oh my God.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Oh, and he is just destroyed emotionally right now.
Oh my God.
How?
What in the world? I didn't even see the mate.
Me neither. Yeah, this is not what you want. Rook B5. You have to play like this.
Could this be a draw?
It should be, but I'm worried. Even if Fabian is ahead in the clock, I'm worried for his time.
Yeah, but if you might play rook takes C5 at some
Oh!
What
Sorry.
an idea!
Okay, but it actually helps Black
But
out.
it's not. Let's go with the 8 ball. Now Black's got activity. No, it's gonna backfire for Fabi. Knight takes a4.
Welcome back, everyone, to the broadcast of the Rapid Chess Championship presented by Coinbase. I'm Anna Rudolph, and I'm thrilled to be here. I have been here for a while, but I'm thrilled. I'm still thrilled, and I will be thrilled for hosting today's show with GM Canty. James, what is it that this final, the final match for all the marbles, will bring to our viewers? Please
Look, y'all
tell
have
us.
to realize we got Hans here. Hans is tearing it up right now. Took down Hikaru, just snapping. You don't know what you're going to get from Hans. And then you got Chef Jeff, who is a specialist in cooking of everything and everyone in front of him. So this is going to be a huge matchup. I don't know who's the favorite.
It is hard to tell because both of them indeed have made it to the final by eliminating opponents that are not easy to crush at all, and yet they made it look simple. Jeffrey's preparation has been incredible. Hans had to knock out Hikaru to get here. So I can't even decide which one is more impressive, but both of them have been very convincing. But this is the final match in a knockout system, and only one winner can stand at the very end.
In fact, right now, as we see something very solid, Queen's Gambit declines as we've seen from Jeffrey before. Let's see how he plays it. This is a Knight F3 line. And this one is a very solid position. As you'll see later on, it can be sharp. But at the beginning, it's very solid, as we know. Queen's Gambit decline being a very well-trusted sound opening for white and black, actually. So we'll see what happens.
This is the first game that Jeffrey plays with the black pieces. He had two white games on his way here because he didn't need a single tiebreaker, while Hans had to play a couple of more games. I don't even know which one helps more here, that Hans had to play a couple of tiebreakers, more games in, more practice. While for Jeffrey, it was smooth sailing. He won both of his matches in the first game with the white pieces.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, feeling great there. Hans is feeling good too as well. Confident, comfortable, right? And of course, these guys are a force to be reckoned with on both sides. We don't know really. I don't know who to give it to. I don't know if it's going to be white. I don't know if it's going to be black. I mean, Hans upset Hikaru there, and Jeffrey had two very commanding performances there. I mean, trying to make it a third as well. So we will see. I mean, of course, right now, nothing to really say about this position. Engine likes white just a little bit better, I think, because of the space and maybe, half open C file. But other than that, very level. Pieces are developed.
Yeah, and this bishop f4, slightly strange move to retreat the bishop without the bishop having been attacked. But he simply wanted to reach what we see now on the board, that the dark squared bishop can be traded before black was going to be able to play queen to c7 and prevent it.
And afterwards, of course, after recastles, we see we got a very solid position from both sides here. You'll see stuff like knight to b6 and c4. You also have b5. Remember, the queen a lot of times goes to e7, knight e8, d6. And the knights get very scary on the c4 and e4 squares. b4 being a move for the minority attack, b4, a4.
Yeah,
is drinking
very
vodka
typical.
allowed? Chat says, is drinking vodka allowed? Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing. And I'm like, Hans, he's not even 21. So we need to make sure we check what's in that water bottle over there, buddy.
It seems to be a gigantic water bottle, but I'm wondering, is it still the same water bottle? Because he's continuously chugging that water, and this is already his third match.
Chugging a lot of water there, or is it water? Chat? Or is
It's gotta be water.
Gotta be water.
Gotta be water.
Gotta be water, right, chat? Gotta be. Okay, a3, a5, a3, and b4.
Very typical, as we have mentioned, the minority attack. And the question is how Jeffrey will deal with it. What is it that he can do in terms of, if you cannot prevent it, how do you prepare for the upcoming position with b4?
I like the queen e7 route. He does probably going to go for knight e8, knight d6. Very possible. You do this, you see this a lot in the Queen's Gambit decline, even b5 as well, and knight b6, knight c4. Seen this. Kramnik had some excellent games like this. Geary as well, with extremely good games in the Queen's Gambit decline, showing a positional masterpiece and what can actually happen. Sometimes even attacking on the king side. You see with the old, what was that, old Petrosian game like that? It's a crazy game. G5, H5. Never thought you'd see that Queen's Gambit decline. It's a very flexible opening, as you know. Very solid.
Yeah.
Flexibility involved.
And I
B6.
think we will take that 1 point away from Hans that we have given him in advance. I think that's just from the previous card that it stayed next to his name. He has not won against Jeffrey. This is their first and only game because every match is one and only one game.
That's it. Only one game. So you better bring your best. And if you draw, then we go to another format where it's only one game. So even then, you better bring your best.
Very solid setup after B6. The bathtub, as Grandmaster Peter Spidler likes to call it. I don't think it was created by Peter, the term, but he has said it so many times that I always think of Peter when I see this pawn structure.
That's good. Now you understand the pawn structure. That's very good. Whatever helps make you understand the pawn structure is awesome. B5 is a threat, I think. Maybe. I mean, I could sack both. And you get the knight on F8. Now you have 4 pieces. I'm not a fan. It's almost there, though. Because of the idea of, obviously, the bishop taking away this square, there's knight F8 to defend. Okay. Interesting. A takes B4.
So this is exactly what white aims for, opening up the queen side further. You see how the semi-open C5 puts pressure on the C6 pawn. The knight from A4 is pressuring the B6 pawn. At the same time, it's a very solid structure for black. So far, everything is well protected. And the question will be, does Jeffrey have any active plans? Can he try to, for instance, double rooks on the...
Jeffrey down on time, too. Remember, he was playing quickly, and now he is definitely thinking as he needs